Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Tony. I am Black Hills Mommy. After I did our pantry, fridge, and freezer video sharing some of the allergen-friendly foods that we keep on hand for the various allergies in our household, I thought, it might actually be worth sharing some of the foods we make, some recipes, something along those lines. I remembered something and realized something. First of all, I realized once I first started trying to make the video that my kitchen was kind of a mess. And honestly, I didn't want to show that. Our kitchen is slightly under renovation right now, if you haven't caught that news. And so everything is not in its place, not everything has a place. And it kind of looked like a disaster. Then what I remembered is, I don't really follow a whole lot of recipes, and I tend to be a little scatterbrained when I'm cooking because there's always a distraction around, which isn't always bad, but with the messy kitchen, I was completely out of it. So you probably clicked on this video to figure out our bacon cheeseburger soup. That is what I'm going to share with you. I came up with a second best option. So here's the soup. Now, I'm going to walk you through the recipe, and I will actually write down all of the ingredients and everything down in the description. So if you want that, you can write down the recipe, try it yourself. I use an InstantPot to cook a lot of our soups and things in. With that, I do have to say we have two different Instant Pots. We have a 6-quart and an 8-quart. The 8-quart is what I primarily use for things like this because of its size. So you may have to size down. If you're more of an average size family, you may have to use 2 Instant Pots if you're an even larger family. But this one never fails to please. You can add, subtract ingredients. Okay, first thing I do is I add some olive oil in the Instant Pot and put it on saute to heat it up. Next, I add some diced onions to start cooking those down just a little bit. Once those are starting to get a little translucent, then I go ahead and I throw in the hamburger, which I'm not very good at remembering to thaw things out ahead of time. I cook a lot of things from frozen when it comes to meat. It's just the way the life goes. Once I have the hamburger mostly cooked, you might notice a couple little pink spots in here. Then I go ahead and drain off any grease. After the hamburger and onions are done browning enough, before you go to drain it, you do want to make sure to turn the Instant Pot off. You no longer need the saute function, and you don't want the element to continue heating. Now for this, I have found that a standard skillet lid fits our Instant Pot pretty well. So just go through your pots and pans lids and see which one fits to help make sure you don't lose anything. I also use some special little Instant Pot lobster claw looking silicone mitts to help lift it, but you could use whatever works for you. Anyhow, drain off the grease. Then you'll just have a pot of cooked onions and hamburger. From there, this time I added cut up potatoes. Other times I have added a few cups of rice. So that one's an option too. I don't have that picture because we didn't use rice this time. Then I added 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Okay, after the 2 cans of tomatoes, I added roughly 2 fistfuls of crumbled picnic bacon. We really prefer the Hormel brand. The texture and the cook on it just seems to be better. We have tried some of the store brand from like Sam's and even Costco, and honestly, we're not a fan of the texture. So that's what we use. Like I said, about 2 fistfuls, however much you want there. Then I cut up a block of cream cheese. Now you can add 2 blocks if you want it to be creamier. I have one child who would absolutely love that, but that's a lot of dairy and not really necessary for this particular soup. It's got enough flavor. After the cream cheese is added, then I add the spices. This time I used a Chicago steak seasoning. I believe we bought that one at Sam's Club. You can use any seasoning that sounds good. You could add just salt and pepper. Honestly, you could skip seasoning if you really wanted to. Because this has onions and tomatoes in it, I knew Sean was not going to be eating it, so I like to add spices and seasonings. With the Chicago steak seasoning, I added about a palmful of seasoning. Don't you love my measurements? Then, after the seasoning was added, I went ahead and added water. Normally I would do beef stock, but we were actually out, which I didn't even think about checking before I started. And the water worked just fine. I just made sure to add a little more seasoning. And there's enough other things in there that honestly, I don't think anybody even noticed that it was water instead of stock. So then at that point, I just put the lid on. Always make sure that your valve is sealed. And then I actually set it to manual, high pressure for 20 minutes. That would be enough time to finish cooking whatever hamburger was not fully browned in there. Cook the potatoes and just help meld all of the flavors together. After the 20 minutes, I am a fan of the quick release. That said, I never get to it as soon as it's done cooking. So it probably did a natural pressure release for about 10 minutes or so, and then a quick release. Once it was done, this is what it looked like. And then everybody chose to top it with some shredded Colby Jack cheese, put some crackers in, however they wanted to eat it. Some of our kids like to toast a bun and dip into soups. And that is our bacon cheeseburger soup. Like I said, you can substitute the potatoes for another starch. You can add other vegetables. I did also one time find some pickle chips that, not the kind you're thinking of, not potato chips that are pickle flavored, but actually dried pickle chips that made a nice topping. Add any of your favorite burger toppings. You can add some mustard instead of spices to get that flavor going in there. You can add some tomato sauce. You get where I'm going with this. There's a lot of ways to tweak it and change it. So that is one of my quick, easy Instant Pot recipes. I'm sorry it's not a video of me actually doing the process. At another time, I can see about doing that if anybody wants. In the meantime, this was an easy one I hope to follow. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. There will be more to come. You guys have a blessed day.